Note-taking is something a lot of people do, and there are many different ways to do it. Some people prefer a pen and paper, while others like digital note-taking. I'm definitely somebody that prefers digital note-taking. I'm going to talk about the hardware and apps I use for note-taking, and then go into the style that I use after that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. For those that are new to the channel, I work 100% off my iPad Pro. This includes things like writing, recording audio, and even editing these videos. What drew me to the iPad was how accessible it is, and I just love using it every day. I started off using my iPad to take notes on apps that I wanted to make videos about and writing the scripts for them, and then it just grew from there. When the 12.9-inch iPad Pro came out with Apple Pencil, I knew I would absolutely love it. I've never been somebody that's good at drawing, but I knew the Apple Pencil could be used for so much more. When I first got my iPad Pro, I started using note-taking apps like Simple Note, Bear, Drafts. I even used handwriting notes like Notability and GoodNotes. While I was doing my iOS 11 review, I decided I wanted to streamline my note-taking experience. I wanted to have all my typed notes and handwritten notes in the same place. I needed to be able to format notes quickly with keyboard shortcuts. I also had to be able to pull a note up quickly using a spotlight search. I quickly realized iOS 11's version of Apple Notes would be the best fit for that. But why is it the best? First, it's built right into the OS, and Apple since iOS 9 has been putting a lot of work into it. This means it got support for features like drag and drop while in iOS 11's beta. This was huge for me. I wanted to be able to see and use how drag and drop worked on iOS 11 while I was doing my review. This can be a downside as well. It'll most likely mean it only gets one major release a year, but to be fair, that's pretty standard with productivity apps on iOS. Next, I wanted to be able to have handwritten notes in the same place as my typed notes. Not only was I able to have them in the same place, but the ability to do inline handwriting and drawing with the Apple Pencil was terrific. Just start drawing or writing anywhere in the note with the Apple Pencil, and it'll create an area. You can move the handles to make that area bigger or smaller. In Notes, the Apple Pencil support is terrific. It's low latency. It makes it feel like you're writing with pen and paper. Another bonus is the Quick Note feature. When on the lock screen but the iPad is on, you can tap the screen with the Apple Pencil and it'll open a note and you can just start writing. You can change how this action works so it can either open up a new note or a previous note you started from that day. But you have to authenticate before you can get into other notes. So if somebody takes your iPad and your Apple Pencil and just taps the screen, they can't get into your other notes. They can only get into that one note or however you set it up. There is also the ability to do quick formatting with buttons and keyboard shortcuts. It can do things like create tables, change the style of text, checklist, and more. In any app on the iPad, you can hold down the command key on the keyboard and see all the keyboard shortcuts. There are a lot of great ones for Notes. Notes even has a built-in document scanner. I don't use this feature a lot, but it's come in handy quite a few times that I've needed it. Collaboration isn't something I used often, but just enough to make this feature super handy to have. You can change the style of note with lines and grids. You can find this setting in the share sheet. Basically, it does what it says. You can put lines or grids on the document. This is really handy if you're doing math notes or if you're needing to handwrite a large document or paper or something like that. You can set this as a default in the settings if you prefer this to be a little more permanent. One major downside to Notes is it doesn't have a dark mode, and if you've seen my other videos, you know I love dark mode. I really like to have my apps match, so I like to have my text editor in dark mode and the Notes app in dark mode. This is something it took a little while for me to get used to, but it's fine now. I would like to see Apple add dark mode to all of their apps across the board in the future. That's been rumored a lot, but I'm still crossing my fingers on that one. Another thing I would like to see improved is Markdown support. Though it has shortcuts for things Markdowns does, like bold and italics, but I'd like to see Apple add Markdown support in the actual app itself in the future. When Notes got rebuilt in iOS 9, its sync engine changed to support CloudKit. This is a huge difference in reliability. It's beyond superior now. Before, it was using some IMAP hack, and it didn't really work very well. I had a lot of notes that just didn't ever sync over. This means that I can get my notes from either my iPad, iPhone, or even the iCloud website if I don't have any of my computers on me. I love that this means I can work anywhere and I don't have to worry about saving or syncing. My note-taking style is similar to others, but I think I bring a unique take on it. First, I break all of my notes up based on categories into folders. I do this based on projects, personal life, my day job, and anything else I feel like it needs its own space. On iOS, there is no way to create subfolders. This is really strange as you can do this on the Mac. I'm hoping this gets fixed in an update soon. I know this is how a lot of people use Evernote to organize their notes. If you're looking for a replacement to Evernote, strongly consider Apple Notes. Most of my notes are outlines for scripts and videos. They're all based on bulleted lists. An unknown shortcut that is not labeled anywhere is if you hit the asterisk key and then a space, it'll make a bullet. You can then hit tab or return to indent or move back the bullet. The outline for video or videos that I'm working on gets pinned to the top. This is a good reminder that this is a project I'm currently working on, and if I walk away from the project for a little while, I won't forget about it this way. It's such a small feature, but I've found it to be super handy. To pin and unpin a note, just swipe in from the right side. For opening notes I've already been working on, I use Spotlight Search to find them quickly. Spotlight Search has been incredibly handy and it works so fast. Even if I start searching for a note and the note isn't the one that pops up in the Spotlight Search, you can hit the Search in App feature and it'll bring up any notes that fit that query that you put in. In iOS 11, notes are now OCR'd, so that means your handwriting is searchable. So when you do a Spotlight search, handwritten notes will show up in there as well. Drag and drop has been super handy. I can drop links to apps or products right in my outline, so it's easy to find them when I'm doing the description of my video. I can also create checklists for things like movies I want to see, places I'd like to visit, and more. It's really easy to create a checklist. Just hit the check bubble at the bottom. I would like to see an audio recorder come to the Notes app. Sometimes I feel it's easier to talk out my ideas than type them. I can also see people that go to lectures or things like that would like to be able to record it while typing up their notes, all in the same app. I also want to see Apple bring in support for editing typed text with the Apple Pencil. I do this with Notability for scripts right now. I want to be able to highlight and cross out and overwrite typed text. Everybody's needs for note-taking is a little different. This is what I have found that's worked for me. I really like the progress that Apple Notes has made in the last few years. It'll be hard for a third-party app to catch up because of how hooked in Apple Notes is into the OS. I would love to hear about what apps and services you are using for your note-taking in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.